together to shut down the port of Oakland once or twice, blocking some boats and some other things. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce to the mic Lubna Lulu Maror.
I love that damn song. So good. So I'm gonna take a step back because Josh said before you get on the mic you should take a step back and think why you did this, so that's what I'm gonna do. Abu Muhammad reminds me of my grandfather if I ever met him. He has a mustache so thick that he makes Stalin jealous. And his hair reminds me of a salt and pepper shaker. Some shades are blacker than others, and his beard is unshaven. But it doesn't look like it's on purpose. Rather, maybe it's he hasn't showered in a couple of days. Heavyset dude, that lightweight reminds me of a cross between E40 and Heavy D, but not so heavy and not so 40. As he waits and sits in his navy blue and white vertical striped jilbab, Jesus slippers, and a long black cane that has a small ball at the beginning of it. He sits for hours. And after watching hundreds of Chinese, Indian, European, Filipino, Latino immigrants being welcomed in by the busload, and not a single person has stopped to look at all the Palestinians being placed on the left like swine in a farm cell. And after watching hundreds of Palestinians being denied, he guttered from the deep insides of his stomach, "Shu entu jayin tsawu fi halbalad ya ghuraba?" What are you foreigners coming to do on this soil? Men are sweating out water that hasn't been retained in hours. Women are fixing their hijab to try to get some air in once in a while. Some people have eyes so bright that you think you see the sun reflected in the cold building. Great walls so high that they have posters of Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, Haifa plastered, taking up the entire wall space. Realizing that most of us have never even been to these places. And they're just teasing us at the border. They don't just play games with our approval into our own fucking country, but they are giving us images of Palestine that have been taken away, and they are dangling them at their fingertips. Some women so fair that their wrinkled skin on their cheeks is mapped out of the Arab world. And on the top of the 6th hour, on the 2nd day, after 32 hours of travel, both my head and my heart feel like they're about to explode. So she calls our name. Lubana and Maisha Murad. Mesa and I both walk up tirelessly into the neon bright right room. The posters of Israeli soldiers are laughing and rejoicing, looking like a Tommy Hilfiger magazine layout. All women, black, brown, and white, wearing army suits and boots. And it's pretty ironic to see such happiness on Palestinian demise. This bitch-ass soldier has been fully equipped like her Kalashnikov to ask me a million questions. Who are you? Who are your parents? Who are your grandparents? What are you doing in Israel? Where will you be staying in Israel? What brings you to Israel? Do you have family in Israel? Who is your family's name in Israel? What village are you going to stay at in Israel? Are you going to be visiting Jerusalem in Israel? Then I reply, my name is Lubna, and this is my twin sister Mesa. And Mesa, who is my yang, quickly reads my voice and takes over the interview. There was no power struggle between her and I. However, the power struggle was between us and them. I thought that I would feel everything. I thought that love and happiness would be the fundamental key to our journey. But it's deeper. The feeling is revoked and sanctioned with white, settler, Zionist people that are toiling with your passports like they are diamonds and they are not ready to sell just yet. And I'm trying to nurture this hope in me for the both of us. and trying to imagine freedom and liberation, but it's numbing and exhausting to think that Palestine can produce a noun and a verb at the same time. She creates dreams and then she kills them. I don't want to just have a series of thoughts, of images, sensations occurring in my mind when I'm sleeping. I want to be able to live them. And yet somehow I am living and I am trapped between the dreams and the nightmares. When I used to fantasize about drinking lemon mint slushies and smoking mass amounts of cigarettes and ergila, talking about nothings of nothings, and watching the sunrise and the sunset on hills of Jerusalem with people that I have never met, and somehow they have become my brothers and my sisters. The anticipation of not knowing, of knowing I may not be able to get in, or that I will be denied, is deafening. It's deafening. And it's become clear that these objects in front of me are not just human, but they are full devil in the process. I hate America, and I hate Palestine equally. I hate what American identity has done to me. I hate what Palestinian blood keeps closing in on me. Why do we keep romanticizing this place like it's heaven on earth? I wish I could forget about Palestine and not think twice about her, or the refugees, or the martyrs, or the land, or the camps, or the blood, or the children, or the women, or the men, or the villages, or the prisoners, or the art that's being plastered everywhere. For all of us that are living on the outside, because we are trapped between the dreams and the nightmares. And the pain only deepens. And as time passes, like 67 years, it doesn't seem to subside or even diminish. It just manifests in different ways. Like when I'm angry at my moms, or I hate on my pops because he's never really happy, or fight with my siblings, or even my comrades. Or I have been, or having hate being the foundation of why I do what I do, because I can't ever seem to find love with anything or anyone. And if she was to show up and hit me in my face, I still wouldn't recognize that this is love. After 12 hours, as our passports are being handed to us by the white Israeli woman, who after 100 times I explained to her where Bet Dukko is, who she still contemplates in her head that it could possibly be at the borders of Gaza. And after telling her who I was, and who my parents are, and who my grandparents are, and what I am doing in Palestine, and where I am staying in Palestine, and who my family is in Palestine, and that Jerusalem is in Palestine, and that I am in Palestine because it's Palestine. And as she reluctantly gives me the false identification of an American passport handed to me from her white, petite settler hands into these brown, thick, Palestinian, Arab hands, we exchanged a brief flesh-to-flesh moment of contact, and she realized that I was a tree, and that I have roots, and you may cut the trunk, but this tree will grow again. Okay.